All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is May 17th, 2022, and we've got pretty interesting open this morning. So the S&Ps are opening higher. We have a nice gap up open in the market. A bit of anticipation in regards to some retail sale numbers this week. We're obviously going through more of a retail-focused earnings week as well. So if you're looking at things like some of the earnings plays this week, you may want to focus in on the retail numbers and some of the sentiment that comes along with it. So just to show some of
Do you
these
want to age
these
healthier and feel
earnings,
better?
we've got names like Walmart and Home Depot. Keep in mind, Home Depot is actually a consumer discretionary stock, at least in regards to its sector holding, but it does have that perception of what are consumers spending on and where is sort of the interest from the consumer mindset. You also kind of look down the list. We have things like Lowe's and Target coming up as well. Once again, keep in mind the organization of where those stocks are. You want to be thinking more on the consumer discretionary side. But all in all, there's going to be some more retail data throughout the week, along with our just normal earnings expectations for these particular stocks. And as always, we'll kind of look at these from an earnings expected move mindset. So wanted to talk about a couple things for this morning rally, just to kind of prepare for if-then scenarios in regards to today's trade. Figured it would be useful to cover some things we've been looking at. Obviously, the impact that it's having for this, quote unquote counter rally that we're getting, core downtrend overall, but obviously got a bit extreme last week, and we'll see what some possible targets might be. So first and foremost, let's talk about some of the nuance of this rally. So we'll pull up something like that did not load correctly. We'll pull up something like a comparison between our daily and our hourly charts on the S&Ps. Obviously, paying attention to these higher impact lows, the ones that set up either bullish risk or the idea that the market might have gone too far too fast in regards to a sell swing, and looking for shorts to cover, and obviously new bullish positions to be interlaid into that position. S&Ps are trading around that core 400 as of yesterday's session. You'll note that yesterday was a bit choppy relative to directionality. There was a fairly established trading channel throughout most of yesterday's session, and we did see a return back to 400 into the afternoon. That is the concept of maybe not a lot of positional risk being assigned and showcasing itself in the form of a breakout. But as we open this morning, some of that is starting to show itself a bit more clearly. We obviously get the breakout of yesterday's range. We also have some concept of inverse head and shoulder. So, this relative area of the S&P is more consolidated. It has high and low structure, lots of trading range activity in between. And then, of course, you get your sell-off low, the idea of your head structure in regards to an inverse head and shoulder. So breakouts in this area are quite powerful because they're indicative of a full reversal starting to form. You have obviously hourly and 4-hour uptrends that are confirming bullish. And then from a measured move perspective, you also get the idea that we might have a nice measured move before seeing another potential sell swing. And what you'll notice is that measured move puts us in line with our 20 period, which is where some of the sell swings have formed more recently. So it's not out of the question to think that an overextended sell swing in the market would lead to a counter rally back to the 20 period. How it forms, however, is up for us to kind of manage and maneuver around as the market continues to climb. Some things that are standing out from risk perspectives, we get things like volatility coming off of the market. So our volatility futures are back in contango. Keep in mind our active contracts are being rolled at this time. So instead of looking at your May contracts, you may want to consider just reviewing your June and July spreads and just noticing here that we are back into that more stable contango structure with about $1 spread between those contracts. And that's obviously going to reflect itself well in the VIX, which has hit resistance and gotten back below our inflection point of approximately 30. So bullish counter rally, obviously in a downtrend. Some things that we were looking at last week to mark our bottom, things like P-call, which is just the put to call ratio inside of all OCC options. So it's a bit of an aggregate signal. You definitely don't want to use this as an absolute, but if you're going through a checklist of bullish versus bearish signals, we certainly are going through a case where this is more bullish short term. So we got this inflection. This inflection mirrors similar absolute lows in particular monthly timeframes. These are going to be your Jan and your February lows. And of course, the market did have strong counter rallies against those levels at the time. So our signals are starting to form in volatility and put to call parity. We also see things like interest rates coming back down. We've talked through that most of last week, so I won't highlight that too much. But this is indicative that our bond products are probably hitting some relative lows. We'll be looking for these to maybe consolidate for a period of time as interest rates maybe consolidate as well near the 3% levels that we're starting to see. This is true for both the 10-year, the 30-year, 5-year. Most of these has hit approximately 3%, seeing some just short-term pullback weakness and obviously still in an uptrend, but more or less getting back into sort of a trading range. We can establish a pullback a bit deeper and obviously break the daily uptrend. That would be indicative of consolidation. So interest rates are currently back on the downside after hitting a spike high. These are obviously very overextended readings for things like interest rates. And just to kind of keep it simple, the concept of when to be looking for the inflections, usually it's when you see something that is different than the previous patterns. So here we have a market that's making higher highs and higher lows every single week. Even if the highs are mild, you're still making new price highs almost every session. You get a slight breach of the low here and then an inside session. You make a new high, and at that point, you're getting a return back to the lows. So this is where you sure of whether or not the trend is changing, inverse and head and shoulder structure for larger trend changes. So that's also true for the dollar. And this is kind of the more bullish signal that I do see today. Dollar was showing that topping action last week. You want to keep in mind that these highs match the Thursday low. So the absolute high of the dollar index so far has corresponded with a relative low in the S&Ps. If we see the dollar continue to fade, that provides a bit more of a bullish case for the market, as it's simply just a pricing gauge for what we're comparing relative pricing to in regards to dollar performance. And obviously, this has larger ramifications for those who are trading currency pairs or just Forex trading in general. You're going to see some absolute lows forming in the currency markets. Really, no matter where you look, most currencies have been net weak relative to the dollar. So strong currencies that are more commodity focused, like the Aussie, Australian dollar, are going to have some impact lows forming from last week. Things like the Swiss franc, which is sort of it tends to almost correspond one-to-one with the US dollar, has actually hit that one-to-one inflection as of last week. So we're basically at equivalent parity for those names. And even some of the weaker names, so our Japanese yen, this one's been on a steady decline, one of our overall weaker pairs. Not necessarily the strongest low out there in terms of the inflection that we're getting, but a bit more healthy consolidation relative to dollar performance. So be looking at these as potential risk levels moving forward. And a lot of it's going to be based around what the dollar does moving forward as well. Obviously, overextended markets, same concept here, higher highs and higher lows for multiple weeks. You get to a point where the market simply is getting one-sided, and then you see your first signals that this may be coming to an end. That doesn't necessarily mean net short. What it typically means is consolidative and usually looking for trend changes to get into your deeper pullback, something like a weekly pullback or a daily trend change would be indicative of those tops. So yeah, and as we kind of move through this provides that bullish case for the S&P. There is one thing, however, that's not quite in alignment, and that is skew. So if you've been watching some description of what skew represents, Artie has provided some of that for us in the community, along with just understanding what this measures. We're looking at basically at the money put premium and what the market is trading relative to tail risk or confidence in the overall decline of the market. As long as we see skew fairly in a downtrend, basically trading lower, that does provide a case where this rally has potential to obviously fade. These readings are not indicative of a healthy bullish uptrend overall. And as we see this potential rally top out, we'll be looking to see if skew is confirming or denying another sell swing in the market, basically to break last week's low. So putting together a picture here, you almost get a checklist of different things in the market that are signaling bull versus bear. You get volatility, you get things like your put call parity, or just your overall put to call ratio. You get things like interest rates, which is a focus of the market and obviously provides a bit of sentiment along with investor bias. You get things like dollar strength. So we've been basically fighting the dollar strength as of the past couple of months. That has obviously put some pressure on the S&Ps. And then you get something like skew. Now, your checklist does not have to look like mine. Your checklist can be simplified or even expanded to include other signals. But whenever you're making a trade, especially if you're looking bigger picture as to whether or not something is more likely to happen, putting this checklist together every day, every week, inside of your trade thesis in general, allows you to basically form whether your trade is A plus, maybe A minus, or B and lower. Obviously, in this case, if I were to look at just my 5-point checklist, I'm looking at about 4 out of 5 in regards to the S&P rally having some strength. And obviously the signals are there that the low from last week is important. It's not necessarily the absolute low. There's no real benefit for us to call absolute lows, but there is a benefit to call relative lows. The reason being is you can trade around them. You know that they are risk levels for the market. And you know that if you get the right confirmation signals, those risk levels can stay in place for quite a while. So as we shift back to the S&P, you can see how this has formed over time. We obviously needed to stop selling, and that of course was our extreme low that was put in Thursday. We had all of our risk signals basically showcasing that we've hit some relative extreme. And then we get things like simple reversal signals. A day where we trade higher than an inflection low is important. Doesn't mean we're not going to break it, but it sets up the bullish case. And now we're looking at hourly 4-hour uptrends with the inverse head and shoulder structure defining our low. So all of this is just building the case every single day. And what's more important than doing this is understanding the potential of, let's say you're still a bear in this market. What are some targets that you might have to anticipate in order to see another bearish setup? So if the market rejects anywhere in the next couple of days, then we're looking at a bear flag. There's really no if then scenario of this bear flag is still a potential for the market. Bulls have a lot of work to do to get higher. However, we're looking at our first weekly high starting to form. The market is trading higher than last week as of the pre-market. If we can hold above here, we're talking about the first sort of weekly bounce starting to form. And that's where you can pull out your Fibonacci. You can start looking at the depth of the retracement now that a weekly bounce is starting to take shape, and just see how high does the market go. We've obviously sold for 6 to 7 weeks. So a bounce here can have potential. It can have potential to 38.2, the 50, or ideally to the 61.8, all of which provide a case for what the next wave of buying and selling might look like. Depending on how high we go, we'll make that case as it forms. Additionally, let's say we're just looking closer to the daily. What are some simple tools that we have to define where rejections in the market occur? Well, we look at moving averages all the time. We're definitely far away from our 20. Our 20 can be a bit of a guide as to how high this rally can go before we see something like a deeper sell swing. Obviously, all this has to form from a level, but we're looking at cases throughout the bounce. Additionally, another tool in our tool belt is trend lines. Now, this one tends to be a little bit more subjective for a lot of traders, but I keep things simple with trend lines. Find a relative high in the market, start parallel to your level, and then move it down. Do you touch a candle? Stop your trend line. That's where it is. So this trend line is a bit far away from price. It doesn't have the same impact as maybe some other signal trend lines that have formed on trend changes. So let's assume instead we have this high impact sell-off where we started to change things like the daily uptrend after the counter rally in February. Now maybe this one comes a little bit lower. Maybe this one is closer to price. And what it forms is the idea that we can retrace to our trend line before seeing another sell swing. Obviously, positioning around trend lines is the idea of positioning around what has been working in the market. Where does selling step in, and where are the tops before you break lows? Simple concepts. Additionally, you'll notice some nuance around this particular trend line. Assuming I'm marking from here, I want to take things like lows after the sell swing and just mark off my lows. Bit of channel-based trading here. It's not perfect. Nothing ever is in the market. But as you maybe define your parallel lines here, you'll see that the S&P has been responding quite well to this particular bearish channel. Sell swings leading to extremes have to retrace to the resistance trend line before seeing new swing lows. It's indicative that we are still in a downtrend, but the idea of the channel means that the width of movement, especially price movement, can offer good risk to reward depending on the style of trade that you're taking, and obviously the aggression that you take in regards to position risk. So take all these concepts into your trade today because the market is rallying. We obviously are starting a bit high in the range. And that's not just occurring in the S&Ps, it's occurring across multiple inflected index products. In this case, we have things like the IWM, which has hit its weekly 200 period moving average. First time it's done this since we dropped. So we are looking at a market that is back testing things like, CVIT highs. We're talking about a market that broke out into a bearish uptrend on an impulsive gap. This is a runaway, breakaway style gap. We are back to those price levels. We're doing so in an oversold fashion. We're obviously coming off of an all-time high, and we're looking for relative lows. The IWM did it last week too. Keep that in mind. The small caps are, potentially providing some sentiment in regards to our trade. You also might want to be looking at small caps today as an opportunity, because if the market does have a bullish lean, small caps tend to outperform just on an intraday basis. And then, of course, our Nasdaq. Obviously the Nasdaq has been quite oversold in regards to its all-time high. But as we note here, we're talking about retracement levels back into, election cycle consolidative ranges. So a bit of a counter rally here obviously needs to form a bit better, but we do have those weekly lows being established. And then we have things like our weekly high, obviously looking more for bullish momentum on the weekly breakout. Not necessarily in regards to positional risk, but if we see counter rallies, that's where I expect more bullish behavior to enter the market, simply because you're negating last week's sell-off. You're, countering in price. So with all that said, today is going to be quite a fun day for the market. I think this gap up open is where a lot of people kind of meet rubber versus road in regards to, are the bulls going to take control today? Are the bears simply going to top fish the market and see that return back into value? Obviously keeping 400 in mind, still a very important value zone, but we are trying to expand from it. So let's see what sort of trend structure forms if it does want to continue. And obviously keep in mind that the further we expand, the deeper the pullbacks can be before we see things like moving average support. This is kind of playing catch up with price. As far as RVOL in the SPY, I do believe it's a bit lower than normal, but I don't tend to look at the SPY for those signals. I tend to look at futures products because as far as hedging is concerned, when we're in a weak market, typically the futures products are going to be indicative of whether we've hit some peaks or valleys. So can I say that the ES has capitulated? Have we seen that high impact volume signal? Probably not. What the volume is telling me so far is that we're likely to respond a little bit bullish for a while, then maybe consolidate. So it doesn't have to be a high impact volume signal to mark a low. What you simply need is trend changes to form around a relative low, or the idea that we are simply starting to fight a daily bounce. So these are all things from a technical sense. They keep you kind of on the right side of the trade depending on your time frame. For a daily intraday trader, we need to mostly worry about if the market is net bull or bear each and every day. And by looking at the higher time frames, we can say, daily bounce is underway, weekly bounce is likely to form today. And then from there, retracement levels are where I expect more bearish behavior to form. So the last thing you want to do is obviously be super bearish at the lows. The idea that your location matters. I think we've hit a location that's important to step outside of the bearish sentiment and let the bullish sentiment take over for a period until we get a new rejection signal, basically a new level to trade against, a new relative high. So last but not least, wanted to show one thing that we called out in the chat room yesterday. This is a trade that's kind of ongoing, and obviously the energy trade is still very much in focus for the market, which I didn't really cover too much. Let the Nat Gas chart form here. So, Nat Gas volatility has been high as of late. We've seen some pretty explosive parabolic shifts in momentum. I'm keeping an eye on just our major sell and buy swings in regards to the futures products. This is still potentially a head and shoulder that's forming, but what we have right now is a very mild breach this morning of this swing high. So looking how this market forms and keeping in mind that crude broke structure yesterday. So let me show this real quick. So crude has been trading in a bullish channel. It's been a very mild daily uptrend with highs with a lack of follow through, and then of course higher lows to mark the low of the channel. So positioning around this has been sort of advantageous for the bull. A bear can maybe try and sell the top of the channel. We're seeing a mild breach as of yesterday. That actually sparked a bit of a rally in energy in regards to some breakouts. So XLE as kind of a guide, new absolute high as of yesterday. I think we closed pretty much at the same high back 1 week prior, but we are looking at pretty much a breakout that's likely to form. And there's a couple of stocks that were very good for that. Oxy was one. Pairing technicals with a bit of quantitative data or just additional market data. There's one big standout in Oxy yesterday, which was the 65.70 open interest. And obviously, Oxy has been in play. It's been a bull candidate. It had a relative high breakout yesterday. Very strong chart. But the option volume is also giving us a bit of a clue as to how high they want it to go. So I'm definitely keeping in mind that 70 is still a bit of a relative target for this trade. We're already trading pretty close to 70 as of this morning. So we'll just see if this is going to continue or if we have hit sort of our target for now. You'll notice that the pre-market actually got close to 70. So definitely a great breakout candidate. Looking for the hourly trend to hold, and then of course the option volume showing 70 as a target. So all right, I think that's pretty much it for today. Lots to cover. The market sentiment is going to be something to watch with some of the data drops that we're getting this week. Keep your earnings plays in mind. There are still quite a few that are tradable in regards to option plays. And as always, just reach out for questions and comments. So stay tuned for pre-market prep, trade safe, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Something's wrong with my camera here. It looks like it's not connecting. I try to fix it, but we won't spend any more time on that. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, brother. I am okay. Sorry for not making it yesterday. Glad Peter was able to. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah,
Man, we
yeah.
had freak storms in the middle of the night. That I mean, like during the day, it didn't look like any chance of them on Sunday night, and then they came through like 10 o'clock. My weather radio alarm went off 4 times to warn of severe weather, about an hour and a half apart each time.
Oh
Like there
man.
weren't that like you could have gone 20 miles one way and 20 miles the other way, and there would have been no rain, but it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kept forming right over us. And between the lightning and the dog barking and the thing going off, it kept me up all night. And then, yeah, I messaged you guys and said, man, I've got no sleep. So I'm
yeah, yeah.
worthless. I was going to do the pre-market show, and then my wife woke up and the kid was sick. So
Man.
I've got that.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I woke up and I'm not feeling well today. So it's, but hanging in there, man. It was just an interesting, weird night. How about you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. I mean, the kids are starting to feel a little bit better. Weekend was good, so can't complain
Good.
yet, man. So
Good to hear.
knock on wood over here somewhere. There we go, just in case. Um, we were saying yesterday that that you had a BYND burger, and that's why you didn't make the show. And our thoughts were with you, but we're
I'd
glad
be
that
out
you're
for a
okay.
full week if that was the case.
All right, guys, let's get to it. Good to have you back. At least, even if half of you is good to have you back either way. Let's look at our gappers list this morning, guys. A lot of stuff in the green, as you can see
Yeah.
here. So things are flipping a little bit the other way. The SPY giving us some, some moves towards the upside. Nothing too aggressive, but we are moving north, so that's going to be causing some of these stocks to actually be heading in that direction from being down from the SPY, right? So the catalyst on a lot of these, as we go through them, it's just going to be the overall SPY and market movement. We got a couple on here that are in double digits. We'll take a look at what's causing that. And then we have some in the red, which will be interesting when everybody else is green. If you're red today, something's up. And we have a big one here, Walmart. So we'll get to them as well, see what's going on in that area. Um, Yesterday, guys, we had a good list. There's some tickers that were okay, but we kind of knew our list was not great. We knew that there was some stuff in here. Again, a lot of it did not have its own catalyst. It was just moving with the overall market. And if you look at the SPY, again, you didn't have a huge push up or a rally there. So some of these stocks, were very choppy. They didn't trade very well. Twitter was the first one on our list. What a beautiful short on Twitter, guys. Again, just the continuous of indecision here, back and forth with the bot account and whatever the case may be. Elon sending was it a poop emoji he sent to the CEO of Twitter? I mean, I just read that
I
this
don't know.
morning on an
I
email.
didn't see that.
Yeah, he sent them like a poop emoji on the email. Supposedly, I don't know how accurate this is, but just all the drama behind this deal is just again, it just seems to be
Funny.
on the. It's funny. It's a little bit on the negative side for Twitter actual price action. So we'll see what happens there. I think the stock will be in play for weeks to come as this continues. Here is Save Spirit Airlines. Again, just a little bit on the choppier side. Did have a nice gap up yesterday with some good news of possibly, a JetBlue, sending an offer, I guess a more aggressive offer to them. But just didn't trade very well. Very choppy. Neo, same thing. We had volume yesterday. Had a choppy start. Good pre-market activity. A little run up here and then slams right back down. Then again goes flat for a little bit there. But if you were watching this live, you knew it was not an easy trader. Definitely not clean. Netflix also did get a little bit of a drop here, but again, just not clean, guys. Look at the movement you're getting up and above the VWAP. Here it gets a little bit better on this drop down, but for the most part, it's just very difficult to hold on to anything here. Good day for scalping, like it always can be if you have a great entry, but for the most part, very tough on this one for Netflix. After losing the VWAP, it does get better here. Nice test of the VWAP one more time, and then another drop towards the bottom. So you had to be very patient. We didn't get crazy runs like this one here, guys. AMD, look at the beautiful pop you got here. Yes, this is a very aggressive drop there. Was it who was it? Was it Eamon? I was on the phone with Eamon yesterday. He showed me his trade. We're talking a little bit. He had an entry here, guys. to go long. I mean, what an incredible trade. He didn't get the entire move, but he got a big chunk out of that because this pullback is very aggressive. And just look, that was the issue yesterday with AMD. The pullbacks were too far down, too stretched down, and that would have stopped you out of a good trade and a nice run. But probably one of the best tickers on our list, besides, well, second to not Baba. Baba was just a pure mess. Second to Oxy, guys. Oxy was just incredible. And we'll talk about that one today because it will be in play. Jared spoke about this a minute earlier. Let's give Jared a thumbs up, by the way, coming in every morning and giving us an overview of the market to get your morning started. Oxy was just incredible. Broke out of that range on the daily that we were talking about. And man, it did it with style, as you can see here. Beautiful open range breakup, nice continuation. Does pull back here, but that's a healthy pullback, guys. Very, very healthy. Doesn't lose the low. And just look at the next pop here towards the highs of the day, and then some. Obviously, very extended here. You're gonna take a break, but it holds nicely on the moving averages. So it just did very well overall. Let's see if it can hold. Today will be interesting. They're up 2.3. That's going to be in play today as well. All right, before we get to our gappers list, Norm, I know you've been out of pocket a little bit with the overall market. Is there anything that you might want to share today that's out there?
Yeah, well, at 8:30, right before we came on, we had retail sales and retail sales ex autos. The retail sales number came in roughly as expected. Ex autos came in a little bit higher than expected. We've got industrial production and capacity utilization at 915. NAHB Home Builders Index at you're going all over the screen there at 10, business along with business inventories, and then we have Fed speakers, like a ton of them sprinkled throughout the day at different events. 8 a.m. James Bullard, St. Louis. 9:15 Patrick Harker of Philly. Jay Powell interviewed by Wall Street Journal at 2 p.m. 2:30, Loretta Mester of Cleveland. Chicago Fed President Charles Evans, 6:45 p.m. So they're on their tour talking about the economy and such. It's early. We've had one day. It's Tuesday, but if you look at the weekly chart, you'll see that we are attempting, and I'll say attempting because it's been one day, but trying to break higher. If we could finish the week higher than we left last Friday, it'd be the first time since March. So,
wow.
Yeah. It looks like maybe some people are nibbling on some things here. We'll get into it in a minute, but a couple of tickers are up because Berkshire's starting to buy some things. Seen some CEOs buying some things that have been sold off a lot, along with some funds and other stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, should be fun. Nevertheless, here, and again, looking forward to how we're going to end this week after such a last couple of weeks, right? Last month, you can see here all in the red on the overall market there. So will be interesting. All right, guys, let's get to our list. We're going to remove the stuff from yesterday. Control A, Control X gets rid of that. I'm just going to go ahead and add Twitter right back on here because I think we'll be looking at that. Hopefully, it's not too choppy today, but I think this will be an interesting one going forward. They got volume already, 2.6 million. Not the cleanest pre-market activity, but that's okay. We'll add these guys on here. Another one that I know we're going to want to see a possible continuation on, guys, is going to be Oxy. So I'm going to add Oxy on there. And it's funny, we spoke about Oxy yesterday a little bit as far as how the pre-market is, right? They're a pre-market you cannot put a lot of weight on. They don't trade very well in the pre-market, and we saw that yesterday. Look at, and actually yesterday was probably one of the cleanest pre-markets we've seen, but we saw it yesterday. It's just not all that clean, and then at the bell, volume comes in, and it just rips, right? So don't put too much weight in the pre-market action. Like, for example, if I look at this, you compare it to like an Apple, like an Nvidia, even an AMD at times, you're not gonna want to have this on your list, but trust me, it's one that moves very well. Bigger picture on the daily, as we've been talking about this one, because it will be definitely interesting today. And Jared spoke about this already a little bit. You can see here the range you're getting above the 63.57. Let's see if that can continue. That was a big day for Oxy. Has not been up here in quite some time. I think I'm not sure if it's all-time high, but definitely I think it's 52-week high on there. All right, let's get to our gappers list. First one, on. So on, ON. It's not really on. There's nothing on about this. I mean, this is more
On
off.
if you owned it yesterday.
If you owned it yesterday or a couple of
But
days
yeah,
before,
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
this is I mean, it's apparel shoes out of Switzerland,
Hmm.
IPO'd last fall.
Okay,
Not a
okay.
great intraday trader. They had earnings, but like you said,
Yeah,
I yeah,
not looking good, guys, at all. It
no, not
needs,
for our purposes.
yeah, not for the way we trade. And I don't think it's gonna get better, to be honest. So I'm not gonna even put it as a possible. I just don't think it's going to get better. So we'll leave that alone. SE is another one that doesn't trade very well. Today they're up 13.1 though. So this is SE. What's the name of this company, by the way?
C
This is
Limited. This is a
yeah, yeah,
gaming out of Singapore. It
yeah.
doesn't it had earnings this morning and they're popping on that. But once again, I've not seen a whole lot of days that this one
Hmm.
is great.
Yeah. What I like today is that we are getting a little bit of action here this morning. Their day looks like to be getting a small pop in here. If their spread can stay decent at the market open, there could be something here. It looks at least as a possible for now. Again, normally we will not keep this stock on deck. They're up 13% though, 623,000. If that spread can stay
Maybe today's
tight,
their day to shine.
exactly. Maybe today's their day to shine. Absolutely. Here's Para, guys. PARA, and they are up 10% this morning. Pre-market's a little scattered here. I'm not a big fan of what I'm
This
seeing
is
on the daily.
Yeah, this isn't a great trader either. But their catalyst today is Berkshire taking a stake. So maybe that
Okay.
does something different. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. Maybe possible. Oh, this is Paramount. Okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't recognize the ticker. Yeah, they don't trade well. But like you said, that can actually do something. We'll see. Up 9% this morning. Here's JD. We got JD. We got Lee. We got a couple of Chinese stock tickers in here. Baba. I think IonQ Foods. There's a bunch in here today. So let's see what's going on there. Starting with JD, we are up 8.1. 1.6 million shares traded. So I like that volume on JD. I'm just gonna take a few. Let's look at Baba. We'll scan through them first, see which ones we like. We'll put those on deck. Here's Baba, guys. Good volume, 804,000, up 7%. Lead, we look at Lee. Lee doesn't look as great here with this pop, so not too excited about that one. We have IonQ. No, not great on IonQ. Billy. We'll take a look at Billy. No, it's okay. Let's look at what's that on Neo. Did I see Neo on here? I saw Neo. I saw XPEV. Neo always gets the volume, right? So they got one pop here and just kind of moving sideways. I think I'm gonna watch Neo and JD today. I think JD looks even a little bit better than Baba this morning with their volume. So we'll put JD on here. I am going to put Neo. We'll put these two today. There's a ton of other tickers you can watch in this area, but I'm gonna go with these two today. All right, I think that covers most of the stuff on here. I see Raya and Mara. I don't want to spend no time on that stuff, man. Every time I put them on the list, they're just horrible. They're not. They're. I know they're moving on the daily. I know that, but intraday, they're just not trading well. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Have you had any success with Mara, Riot, or any of these big coins? I think Coin was the only one that was on fire a little bit a couple of days ago. And not in a good fire, kind of like a dumpster fire here, not a good fire at all. Let's get the garbage cans out. But yeah, you can see
I
this
would say
drop
it was
here.
more like a jet that was on fire and crashing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's just I don't know, maybe Coin, but for the most part, I'm gonna keep these guys off the list for now. Yeah, so JD had earnings this morning. Nice. That's why they look so good today. That makes sense. That's why they look good today. All right, we'll keep them on the list. Usually, I prefer Baba over them, but looks like JD's got it going on today. Heading down here, we see some airlines also United. I saw American a little bit further down. Let's take a look at those and see how we're doing here. United, we're up 3.4% almost on United. Not a great pre-market activity, but they usually don't have that. American Airlines, though, even though we're up 3%, their volume is not explosive, right? We're seeing this stock be in play, and their volume is usually in the millions by now. So, is there any specific news to travel, or it's just overall market movement?
United came out and said something earlier that demand's continuing to improve, but
Hmm.
I know I saw that. I don't know if that's all of it or not. If maybe there's something else.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'll add just American Airlines or United. I'll just add United, like you said here. See if something comes up from there. I mean, they're up 4%. Maybe the volume gets better at the market open. We'll have to see.
Chart looks terrible right now, though.
Yeah, it definitely looks horrible. Definitely looks horrible. And it might even stay there, guys. We got Nvidia, we got AMD, our usual suspects in here. We'll definitely be adding some of these. I like AMD this morning. Let's look at
semis are strong across the board, really.
Yeah. Nvidia is Apple's not so great right now, but Nvidia looks good, and Nvidia's been trading very well. We're getting towards the top of this range for the last couple of days here, that 179, 180. I like Nvidia as well. Apple's not looking great, but still a good possible if the market is going to rally, guys. We know how good that can trade, so we'll add Apple right on there. Let's share that with our YouTube friends. So here's a chat. Carlos today. No. That is good. Good one. Yeah, so we had the onboarding class last night and my battery died. So I put it to charge. I charged it. I put it back in the camera, but guess what? I left the camera on. So this morning when I turn it on is completely dead. Exactly. Or what's the Mario one? Dun, 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 dun. That's the classic one, man. That goes back to our days. All right, folks, let's get to it. Oh man. Let's see what we got going on here, guys. All right, so Apple's good for now. United, Power, and SE on our secondary list. Let's take a look what's gapping down, and then we'll go over to Norm in the chat. GLBE, this is down 25%. I'm not liking the volume on the daily. Pre-market looks very scattered right now. Norm, any important news that it looks like earnings I'm seeing here after hours earnings last night.
Yeah, this is an Israeli company. I don't think it's a great trader.
Yeah. I agree. It doesn't look good. We'll skip on this. Let's get to the real important stuff here. Here's Walmart, guys. Down 6.6 this morning. Pre-market earnings not treating them well at all. So that's a decent drop, actually. It is a decent drop. They gave back all the earnings from March.
They had earnings this morning. Their miss was pretty substantial. So compared to guidance caused by inflationary pressures is what they said.
2.1 million shares traded, guys. It's definitely a lot of volume. If you look at Walmart, they don't trade heavy volume. That's a big retail giant. Doesn't move a whole lot on the intraday, but the volume today, 2.1 million with Catalyst. I think this can be a good trader today. So definitely on the list, guys. Down 6.7. Not market's not taking that earnings well. All right, let's see. Norm, what do you like on your end this morning?
So the perfect segue from Walmart, another big retailer, Home Depot, reported this morning and had the opposite results. They substantially beat both top and bottom lines. So nice. They're up 4% this morning.
Nice. They're doing very well. Things are so expensive, man. I don't know how they're doing so well. I want to buy a 2x4. It's 3 times more than what it was 2 years ago.
Well, it was it was 8 times more a year ago. Now it's come down.
Yeah, it's come down. It's still like 3 times more. It's just insane. So Home Depot here, guys, in play today, 3.7. Again, these two not really huge, great intraday traders, but we've seen them have their day. And again, today that could be it. So I'm going to add JD as a possible here. HD as a possible, up 3%. We might take something off of here, but these look really good at the moment. So I think HD is going to have to hang out here in our secondary list. Did you have another one, Norm, or this was the one, right?
I mean, I could throw a handful out, but I don't want to steal everybody's thunder in the room, so I'll just let them take it.
Got it, man.
I will say one other, though. Rivian might be interesting. CEO, there was a filing. I believe he bought 40 some odd thousand shares yesterday.
Nice.
So they're up a little bit on that.
Yeah, they've been down quite a bit, so it could be a good turnaround time here for them. With the CEO also putting his money where his mouth is. So that's good. It's always good when you do that. So let's see how that's going to play out here today. All right, let's take it over to their chat room, our friends. Let's see what we have here. We'll start with, let's head on down. Jared Walmart on there. Good. We have that one. AMD. Yeah, I have AMD. So if it's already on there. So that's good. I see some conversation about ATR. Kiwi Kev, TTWO. Just go there. TTWO. Take two. No. I don't know about this one, man. Looks very light on volume.
They had
Is this a
earnings last
gaming?
night. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they had earnings last night. They
Yeah, yeah.
usually, it might be better during the day after the market opens. I'd
Mm-hmm.
anticipate they get. They've got. I mean, they're Grand Theft Auto. That's who makes that, amongst other big name games.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see how they do.
Yeah, so a gap up 5.8 right now. We like you said, gotta wait for the market open, see how these guys turn out then. So TTWO, we'll put them on there. SE looks better than TTWO. SE, I have it as a possible here. Yeah, it does actually. I mentioned today, this could be their day. It does look really decent today. So yeah, we'll put that
Just be
on there.
careful because you can rip.
Yeah, that's the thing. Got to be very careful with this one, and always check out the spread. I mean, it is a $79 stock. Spread is not it's not bad for pre-market right now, but at the market open, make sure you check that and that it's not giving you any surprises there. Let's look at Citigroup. They are up 5.2 this morning. What's their news? That's a good, nice little pop there. Citigroup.
That's another Berkshire Hathaway investment. I mentioned the other one was um, Paramount.
Paramount, yep, Paramount. So both of those having that. Let's see how that investment plays out. Let's see how that catalyst plays out here. So both of them popping up pretty good, 5.2. Let's see if there's any juice left for them to run up any higher on that positive catalyst. Oscar giving us TGT. Let's take a look here. They had earnings as well. They got a nice drop, or they're just sympathy play here. What's going on? No pre-market
They
earnings
report
tomorrow.
tomorrow. I think they're dropping sympathy off Walmart.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Very similar business style there. Yeah, so they're getting ahead of the curve here, down 2.1 already this morning. I like their daily's a lot cleaner than Walmart as far as where it's going to now. If it can lose this, right? Walmart already had its drop already. I'm just not sure how much more you're gonna drop on this here. It could TGT could be interesting going into earnings tomorrow, but from what we've seen, usually after earnings is the better trading activity. So we'll put them as a possible. Might not stay there for now. For later. Walmart is good. Baba, I looked at Baba. I like JD better today. They have earnings, and I like Neo with the volume when it comes to these Chinese tickers. And also, you also got Neo with the EV. So I'm gonna stick with those for now. But yeah, you can look at Baba. You can look at some other ones here that might also be interesting for the market open. Again, they're not great. I might not keep them on this list as we fine tune this down to 6 tickers only. And things might get better as we get closer to 9:15. But for now, it might be worth just taking a look at there. Sam TQQQs, absolutely. You can always keep an eye on those in the overall market and in the queue. So yeah, there's good. What was the bulk sell on Macy's, Norm? They're asking. Let's see. Macy's. Oh, this right here. That right there. I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
Macy's.
It wasn't that big of a. I
Yeah,
mean, that whole candle only had.
it
I have
wasn't
no
a lot
idea
of
what that
volume.
is.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of volume too, so it's strange. Um,
That looks like it's something that's printed to me. I don't
yeah,
know why there'd be a print at 15. There's been no action on it this morning.
yeah. I mean, this candle alone
Doesn't
barely
make
has
any
any
sense.
You Yep. So, all right. Let's take it over to
Just
our
they
YouTube.
just threw it
Mhm.
on there to screw up your chart, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. So you you get a
My
nasty
guess
chart
is
now.
if you look at other platforms, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah. Let's head on over to our YouTube chat here. So let's see what we have. HD beat earnings. Yep, HD is in our list. We have that there. Ben loves the HD catalyst. So yeah, I think it's a good one. We'll see how it plays out today. We have Walmart here as well. So I have both of those there. Is this a trading idea scanner? If we're talking about, oh yeah, and Norman stuff. If you're talking about this, yes, that's what it is. This is trade ideas. And guys, in the room, we give you access to a bunch of scanners. So we got a little bit of time here. I'll show you what that looks like. They're not going to populate a whole lot right now. In chat, you're going to get a mirror effect, but just for a little second so we can show our YouTube friends. As you can see this here, this is our scanners, right? So you got the gappers, gap up list, which by the way, look how long it is today.
Yeah.
Massive. Here's what's gapping down. And then once the market open, all these start populating. So this is, you also get access to this with your membership. You can switch easily right here and see what the scanners are showing you. New high of day popping up here, Nvidia. Yeah, this gets very active as you would think, obviously, at the market open. Very one of the best scanners out there, guys, if not the best scanner out there when it comes to identifying stock. I can't think of any other one that is even close, really. Um, all right, Jose, you're giving okay a few coming in now. Let's go. Danko, you're giving us a few there, which we all have already, Danko. So thank you. Walmart, HD, Oxy, and JD all on the list. Apple is on the list. Daniel is showing us CCL. Let's take a look at CCL this morning. No, I don't think CCL is really in play. I don't think even American Airlines is in play. I just think these travel companies are pretty quiet right now. They're up about 3%, but the volume is pretty light. I think they're going to wait for the market to start moving. If the market is going to continue to be strong, I think they'll rally. But we're going to have other stocks that are probably going to be trading a little bit better than that. Apple, Nvidia, AMD. These guys are gonna be probably more aggressive if the SPY is gonna move up, especially because as you mentioned, Norm, the semis are looking really strong this morning. They've been beat up so much. Here's Shopify, which I do not like. I do not like the way this thing trades. I don't like the lack of volume and how spready it can be. So this is definitely a no. So yeah, we'll stay away from that one. IonQ, we looked at this morning. Another, I believe, again, Chinese ticker. I got a few already on my list that I like. IonQ tends to be on the bottom of that list for the most part. They don't look and they don't look great today. They're up 6.2, 346,000, but again, not a great 346,000. This is an ugly 346,000. All right, let's get to our community events and announcements, guys. We got a lot to watch today. We're gonna fine tune this very thin here. We're pretty heavy on the tickers. We're gonna get that sort out there. Let's get over to our community events.
All right, go ahead to the next one, bud. That was last night. Tonight, you got Peter talking about fundamentals of the market, just generally how the market moves in the cyclical nature. That's at 8 p.m. this evening. The next week, Jared will be talking about what? That's I don't understand. There's a
there was a misprint on the website. This has to get fixed. Yeah, I think they were working on that. Yep.
So forward to the next one. Andrew's doing the psychology webinar tomorrow night, just talking about how he grew as a trader, his journey, and how he's dealt with psychology and the psychology of trading. The next week, Randy Howell talking about building a winning trading psychology mindset. Mentoring on Thursday, got John at 11, Ed at 4, Thor at 8. Don't forget about our free web-based replay simulator at stocktradingsimulator.com. When you sign up for that, you'll get 2 emails a week, one on Wednesday, one on Friday, pointing you in the direction of what and where, what time and what tickers were good traders the last few days. Give you some homework. And then don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't been in the room, go to bearbulltraders.com. You can scroll down about halfway down the page, click on the intro membership. That's 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. Use the promo code PreMarket24 to get a discount off that intro week.
Sorry, I was on mute there. All right, guys, let's get to our list here, do some levels. Let's fine tune this first. Let's kind of review it and get this list to something more manageable. So we have Twitter, which, by the way, it's got volume. Not looking too great, but I think they'll be fun to watch today. So we'll keep Twitter on here. Oxy's going to be interesting too after the breakout yesterday. Are we going to continue on the strength here, or are we getting too extended from the range? JD, nice little pop here this morning on earnings, so that's good. Neo's got great volume, guys, 1.3. I agree with what was the comment over on YouTube? Someone mentioned this. They said something about Neo. Yeah, indigenous pathway. Hopefully, where are you here? I think it was you. Yeah, here you are. So you said, Neo has good volume, but I don't like the barcode action in the PM. Yes, this is a barcode action that you're seeing now. That is not fun. I'm hoping that's going to get better. I'm hoping that's going to get better after the bell. Let's remove some of these levels here. It's very congested. There we go. Nice clean chart. We'll get some levels in here in a second. AMD, good volume, guys. 1.2. Up 3.4. I think this is a good one to keep an eye on. Nvidia, man, starting to rip now. I love the daily on Nvidia, guys. I mean, when you have a clean daily like this for a possible breakout, like you had on Oxy yesterday, it makes them easier to trade, easier to spot opportunities. And just look at this here on Nvidia, looking very, very nice this morning. Going to keep an eye on that. Here's Walmart. Again, huge drop. Definitely in play. Man, I couldn't think of anything to take off from here. If I had to take one off, if I was forced, it would be Twitter. I think it will be Twitter today. I mean, these all look very, very good, but Twitter can surprise us here. So we'll see. All right, let's do some levels for all of these. We got to still make this list shorter, but let's at least do levels and be ready for the market open. 35.85 low of the pre-market on our buddy Bluebird over here. Towards the bottom, let's see what we have. We have 33.88 is good, and then all the way down here, guys, 32.12. So we have come down from the heavens here after all the Elon tweets and all the other stuff going on there. We were back down, back to the area where we were before. So I think the only way we get back up here is when this deal is finalized, when it's actually finalized, not when we start talking about it and we're back down to where we are. So when we're finalized, I think we'll start seeing some movement upwards. Right now, it's just too much indecision on here on what's really going on with Twitter and our buddy Musk there. So towards the top, guys, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. You got some pretty good, clean levels towards the bottom here, which I love. That makes it easy to spot opportunities and also profit and risk area. So here's Oxy, guys, leaving this range. Now, is Oxy at all-time highs? Let's go back here. Are we all-time highs on Oxy? I have not. No, we're not. Here on the weekly, we're going back to 2018, 2019. So we're going ways back on our weekly. Let's see what we have going on here. We're hanging out here around 69 at the moment, 70. On the weekly, we're going to get some levels. We're going to get 72. We're going to get a very good one here, guys, 75. And just one more in case. We'll keep this one for the next couple of days in case we're going to rally this much. 78.17, which really not that far from where we are. It's not that much of a stretch. We'll do one more here, 82. 82.22, but we'll also be looking out for 80. You guys know 80 can be an area, where you're going to have some at least a psychological level at least. All right, so we got some levels towards the top here. We're pretty much set on Oxy. Let's get back to our daily, and that is what we have so far. I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market, which is your 52-week high, I believe. So there's going to be 69.79. Actually, more your 52-week high. It's like your 3-year high there. So we're all set there. Let's take a look towards the bottom. You're pretty much taken care of. I don't think you need to add anything else. Your low of your pre-market is this one here, but for the most part, you have this nice level here you can go off, which is the highs from yesterday. Let's head on down here to JD, my friends. JD here is it's looking good. I have not kept JD on my list in a very long time. So let's see if today wants to treat us nice. It has done in the past. I remember we used to trade JD quite a bit. It was JD and SQ on the list constantly. Now, those two stocks have changed the way they trade. Their characteristic is not the same as it was in the past. It was a whole lot of fun. They were like the AMD and Nvidia of our days now, right? Or the Neo and the EVs of what was it, like a year ago, right? But has definitely changed. Today's looking very good, though. We got some levels here. 54.02 low of the pre-market. 56.45 is your high. And then we have 58.69, which is your level here on the day, looking really, really nice. Again, very choppy daily action, but you do have some areas where you can see there's some some support, some resistance happening across the board there. So that's nice. Towards the bottom, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. And I think that sets you up when it comes to levels on JD. So I'm liking the volume on it. I think today's going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to trade well. Here is our barcode stock for the morning. As you can see here, it's just the algo-like action we're getting on Neo, but it's starting to break out. Hopefully it can continue. But I agree, it's not a clean pre-market. Although you have the volume, 1.3, we've seen cleaner action out of Neo, no question about it. So let's go up to the top. We have a 1647, might actually be 1650, but that's a good area there. Over here, you have another area, 1818, which is real nice there, guys. Look at the support that later becomes resistance, right? So you can see the resistance coming in here nicely, especially in this range. A couple of days, you created a nice, some ping pong action happening there between 1647 and 18, giving these two levels a lot of weight, right? So you want to put a lot of weight on these two levels here because you have a lot of action happening around them. So pretty good stuff happening there. Towards the bottom, low of the pre-market here on our barcode, 1517. Obviously, man, does it get any more algo than that? I mean, this is this is really strange there. So 15, actually, no, that's not the low of the pre-market. We have this weird candle down here. Yeah, let's mark this. It's 1476. You still want to keep this on here. This is probably going to be more significant and important than this little guy over here by himself, right? That's going to be more important there. Let's see if we can hold that. All right, let's head towards the bottom. AMD 1.2 million. We got some good volume. Let's remove some of the levels from yesterday because some of the stuff this morning might be overlapping that. So let's do that there. You can see highs and lows are marked with the levels from the last 2 trading days highs and lows, right? Our pre-market there is set. Let's look towards the top here, man. We are slamming against a very nice important area. What's this, 98? Look at just 98, how many touches we have here. That's a major level. Even yesterday, that's where we stalled. And then here again, just trying to break higher, up 3.3, trying to squeeze into above the 98 area. 99, 79, another level as well. In here, these levels are a little bit weak. Oh, no, not so weak because this one here has support actually going back a couple of days there. So 102.63 is good there. You got a couple of days touching here. And I think we're set. I think we don't need to have any more on AMD. If we're going to have that type of day where we are looking at above 102 on AMD, that means we're going to be having a good day on many stocks, my friends. So looking forward to that. 179.93 is the high of Nvidia. Man, Nvidia continues to rip here. Might actually get to 180. So we'll worry about the high of the pre-market on Nvidia in just a second. Let's look above that. We do have something at 185 right here. A couple of days opening, closing right around this area. So that's looking very good there. And then towards the top, the top of the range here, it starts around 198. So 198. Yes, you got a couple of days getting above that, but 198 seems to be where you have the most touches, right? And remember, guys, these level are in area, so you might have some candles or wicks above or slightly below that. So don't worry too much about that there. But 185 is where we would love to get to here at Nvidia. Looking really strong right now. Let's see what our high of our pre-market ends up to be in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, we'll mark the low of the pre-market over at 174.26. We'll slam a level there, and we'll leave this as is for now. We'll come back to it in a second and see how things are playing out here. All right, let's go to Walmart. Walmart taking a big dive this morning, not happy with their earnings and their reporting, and of course, blaming everything on just the supply chain issues, right? Things just not getting to them on time or availability or so forth. Which, by the way, guys, I mean, if you have a newborn, there is a serious lack of formula. My wife and I are having a very hard time finding formula for our little one. It's just insane. You can't get them anywhere. So if you have a little one, hopefully you have some backup. We do have a couple of cans left, but we are running short very fast. It's just insane. Yeah, no, we tried, and it didn't work. It didn't work. Here, 141.50. But yeah, you definitely want to do that if you can, if you do have the time to. 141.50 here, guys, looking pretty good towards the top. 137.08, 133.88, and 132.05. I'm serious. Yeah, you check on Amazon, check anywhere. If you guys find formula, baby formula, and it's available, let me know. I'm telling you, it's out everywhere. Target, Walmart. It is crazy. All right, Walmart's good, guys. Nice big drop here this morning. Let's see how they extended, how we found the bottom. Are we heading up to the 141.50, which is a good level here? Looking forward to it. Let's see what happens. Some notable mentions here. Target moving on to sympathy play from Walmart. We have Rivian. We have HD, which is also had great earnings, by the way. This actually could be a good one. Apple is good. United, I'm going to remove United for now. If it hits our scanners, we could take a look at it. Paramount and Paramount and Citigroup are both on possible big investments there. So we'll see how that plays out. SE actually looks decent, and TTWO not so much. I'm going to remove TTWO, guys. I know they can be explosive, but I think the stuff we have on our list looks really good this morning. I don't think we need to go there as of today. And let me see. Let me do another pass here. Target, Rivian, HD. I'm gonna try to put this in order of what makes sense. I'm gonna put JD at the top. That's the top possible. Target is so. Let's remove it from here. And obviously, Apple is a good one. I'll get rid of Paramount and Citigroup. You guys know what's going on with those already. So if they hit our scanners, we can take advantage of it. And I'll keep SE. Yep, I think this looks more manageable there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got one too many. Let's go to our moderators list, and then I'll fine tune this before we get to the market open. But we got a decent list so far. All right, let's get our moderators lined up, guys. As we are doing this, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very, very much. Sitting at 130 likes. We'd love to be at around 250, 300. For those wondering, my camera battery died, so this is why you're not able to see me. Let's see. Can we get this? Since we got a little bit of time, maybe we can get this going. No, still not turning on. All right, so not gonna work for today. You can see my ugly mug tomorrow. Let's go over to our moderators lineup. I'm gonna go ahead and fine tune this here and see what our friends are watching this morning. Let's see over here. I see a couple of mods already got their lists up. Here we go. Okay, so we are starting with Thor, AMD, Baba, JD, Dima, Walmart is JD, SE, and Apple, Tiffany, Walmart, SE, secondary list, Nvidia, and Tesla. Susan looking at Oxy, GameStop, Tesla, and secondary list AMD and Nvidia, and Megan only likes AMD this morning. So that's our moderators list right now. We'll have a few more pop up in just a second here as we continue to prepare for our market open. JD, yeah, JD looks good today. A lot of us like JD also too here. JD does look decent this morning. Again, we haven't seen it like this in a while, so it's very, very active, getting a little bit of a change in direction after hitting 56.45. But for the most part, their volume is really good today. And again, this is after earnings this morning. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Looking nice. All right, guys, coming up on 9:15, we'll get ready to hop off here off of YouTube. We're going to continue in the chat. Trying to see if there's anything we missed before we let you guys go, and I do not believe so. So with that said, I'm going to see if any other moderators share their list before we hop off, and I'll share that with you. But for the most part, I think we're ready to go here. Quick recap. We have Twitter. We have Oxy. We have JD, which has great volume, good movement towards the downside now as well. We have NEO, 1.4 million shares traded. Again, a little bit choppy here. Hopefully that gets better. But the volume is there, guys. 1.4 of 5.1. That's really, really good. AMD semiconductors are very strong. I do like AMD the way it's moving here this morning. And Nvidia is just explosive, guys. I mean, it's just taking off here nicely. Slamming up against that 180. Our high of our pre-market right now is basically 180, 179.96. We'll mark that down. And then heading over here to the last one on our list is Walmart, which again it has had the big drop already. We'll have to see how this is going to play out. Quick question: we had a question in our chat here. Someone asked, how can we tell if a stock is going to be choppy or not, or if the market is going to be choppy or not? There are some indicators that can give you that. A real easy one is like we had a couple of weeks ago, right? We had the Fed was going to talk about the numbers. You saw how choppy that was before that FOMC meeting. I forget the actual name of the actual meeting. But before those big meetings where there's some indecision of what can actually be announced, you have the market go crazy. A lot of sideways action, which drives us insane, us day traders, right? Stocks like this, like drop a whole lot, right? Walmart's down 6.6. It is hitting a level where we had some good support in the past and resistance. The move might be done here. That move for Walmart might be already done at the market open. Unless we're going to get a nice rally towards the top, you might just see sideways action. Usually when you have these big gap down days on a stock, and it's not strong enough to close the gap, you might just move sideways. Right, so be on the lookout for Walmart to be a choppy one if we're not going to pick a direction very early on. So, and sometimes you just could see certain things that it's going to cause choppiness at first, like that first hour, and then things will settle down and get going. But there are some indicators that you can tell, okay, this is going to be choppy on a specific stock, and depending how the market is, if there's some indecision, you can expect some chop there as well. But for the most part, you cannot tell 100% what the market is going to do, whether it's going to be choppy or not. There's no way to do that. I think the only thing I can tell you that for sure is Peter's Magic 8 Ball. but he doesn't show up. Not Peter, but the Magic 8 Ball doesn't show up until about 2 o'clock. So by then it's too late for us to decide what the type of market is going to be. So guys, trade safe. I will see you guys over on YouTube tomorrow. Have a great one. And we'll see you then. Take care, guys.